Hi, my name is Jed Norman, and this is your Agronomy Tip of the Week. A couple weeks ago, up here in Iowa, we did our annual Pro Farmer Tour. We have been doing it roughly for about 4 or 5 years, and have been seeing some good perks out of it. So I thought I'd kind of catch you up on what our findings were up here in Iowa. Just to really catch you up on what the Pro Farmer does, they go around gathering yield estimates throughout the Midwest. What they typically do is when they come up onto a field, they get in past the end rows, and then past the end rows they go about 35 paces and then start their count. They lay out about a 30-foot rope and then go and count viable ears. Viable ears meaning that what would be consistent throughout the count. Anything short and stubby, anything that the combine would not potentially get, they do not count that. So you go through, you count your ears and how many ears you have, and then you grab ears 5, 8, and 11 to continue what the yield estimate is. Once you get the 5, 8, and 11 ears, peel them back. You grab a rough row estimate and average the 3 ears on what rows you have, and then you butt them kernel to kernel to get an overall length and to get an average length on the ears as well. With those numbers, what you do, you take your overall ear count times your rows around times your average length, and then you divide by the row spacing to get your overall yield estimate. Typically, a lot of your you have a lot of 30-inch rows, so most of them were all of our yield estimates where most of them were divided by 30. In our findings, what we could see in the state of Iowa, we're about on the ear counts, we're about 51 ears in that 30-foot length, which is to be about average in the 5 years that we've been doing it. Then what we had was rows around. Rows around, we collected about our average was about 16 rows, which is to be about typical normal. And then our overall length average over the 4 or 5 years has been about 7 inches. We were just short of that, about 6.85 inches, which comes out to be in about 196 overall yield average for the state of Iowa, which is about in that right identical with our 4 to 5 year average. So overall, the state of Iowa felt like our yields are going to be relatively in tune with the overall 5 year average. What we saw in out in the fields as well, we had seen a little bit of tar spot, as you would expect. You know, farther eastern Iowa, you could see a heavier pressure, and then as you climbed over into the west, you did see that pressure decline a little bit. One thing that I was surprised with as I was going in there, I was seeing a little bit of northern corn leaf blight. That was something relatively new, hadn't seen that in a while, but ultimately nothing too terrible. I would say moving towards harvest, we would want to make sure and overall kind of just keep an idea on what those stalks are looking like. Be out there giving a push test every now and then, and that way we can be out there in a timely manner. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's segment. Please stay tuned for maybe next year, and we'll have some yield estimates for you then too. Have a good one.